Hello there, this is LJ Muchenja. I'm going to take the next couple of minutes and expand a little bit more about my attitudes and emotions about stuttering in general. So, as I've outlined in my paper, my attitudes and emotions, they kind of have evolved over time. In the past, I used to be very rigid. I used to have this mindset that no one should know that I stutter. I used to get very tense, very anxious, very nervous each time I had to speak, because I was hiding my stutter. It took me a long time to move away from that kind of thinking. It was only when I started this therapy, rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT. What it did, it essentially challenged my thoughts. It challenged the way I thought about my stuttering, because I realized now that the problem wasn't really the stuttering, but the problem was the attitudes and the thoughts that I was having about my stutter. So if you take the example of a job interview, I used to get very tense and very nervous about that. And I mean, it's common, even people who don't stutter, sometimes they get tense and nervous in situations like that. But for me, I thought it was kind of exaggerated. Um, so I used to have these demands that I should be fluent. Oh, I don't want the person on the other side of the table to realize that I stutter. So I would go all the way to hide my stutter, to the extent that it would actually affect the preparation of the interview. Instead of focusing on my qualities and my qualifications, I'll be focusing on how am I going to say this, or how am I going to avoid this word, and stuff like that. And, when it comes to avoiding stuttering, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy. Some people refer to it as mental gymnastics. You gotta be thinking of what you want to say, and at the same time, you gotta be thinking of words that you can substitute over the word that you can't say. It's just a lot of work. So um, I realized that I was putting unnecessary pressure on myself. And because of the irrational thoughts I was having, it was increasing my stutter. So I ended up stepping back, asking myself, hey, what's the big deal? What is the big deal if I stutter? Why am I putting this pressure on myself that I shouldn't stutter? After all, I don't know that there's any law out there that has been put that says LJ cannot stutter. So the moment I realized that, the moment I started allowing myself to stutter, the moment I started, acknowledging that I'm a worthy person, because the other thing, um, I used to tie my worthiness to my stutter, saying that if I stutter, I'm not worthwhile and stuff like that. There is no such thing. Human beings, we are so complicated. We all have different qualities, we all have different capabilities. There is nothing out there that says my worthy is tied to how I speak. So just having that attitude, it liberated me. It allowed me to be me, you know. And by allowing myself to be myself, I don't have to spend a whole lot of time trying to avoid stuttering. So, in a sense, this summarizes my emotions and attitudes.